up, YouTube? FF14 fans are finally getting a crumb. Alisaie got moved up early, and Keiss came with her a month as well. Alisaie is about, I want to say, 3 months early, maybe? She came around Irvine's intersecting will, and Keiss is about a month early. He was originally on the Lilith set banner a month from now in JP. So anyways, in this video, before you pull on Alisaie and Keiss LDs, I'll give you some things to think about before you potentially use your limited resources. If you're new to the channel, I play both JP and Global, and I try and use some of that knowledge to inform y'all. While you're here, go in the comment section, leave a comment what you're thinking about this banner, what you did already potentially, because I waited a couple days to get this out because I was busy. But yeah, comment, like the video, subscribe, consider becoming a member, and check out the Ranting Hour, my weekly stream. Slides are coming back. Y'all were showing love with the engagement, so I'm keeping it up, but be sure to keep throwing them likes this way. But we're gonna go over Keiss C90 real quick. He got some pretty basic stuff. If you're not familiar with this kit though, he is a support, he is a chase enabler. He lets other people launch, and when he partakes in the launch, he has mid-air attacks that enable battery, and they increase HP damage and drop debuffs, etc. He's really the quintessential unit to have in launch teams. He really enables that stuff very well. For his rework, the main thing, his skill 1 got more damage, not important. His skill 2, however, previously, the skill 2 buff that he gave hero support that enabled any member of the party to launch was only 1 turn. So you set up a 1-turn launch, but now it's 8 turns. So you're just pretty much launching on every unit in the party on every turn, except for Keiss, I guess. With Keiss in the party, that's a pretty good debuff. Excuse me, pretty good improvement to his buff, and gave him a little bit more time to shine before Selphie gets her C90 and her debuff sticks around, and that's infinitely better. Keiss's LD also has debuff start now, so his base call will apply his debuff. So 3 turns if you use the base call, and it'll still be 6 turns because the LD attack itself applies it. The base call did not get buffed though, it's still 1-turn hero support on that. As for his C90, he got better mid-air battery on his HP plus and Brave plus. Not really important. You won't really care about that. And his EX got recast up, so I think he might be. His EX will be up faster. I don't think he's exactly a 1-skill recast, but it's a lot faster. So he's doing more damage on that. It does more damage itself. Part for the course. But now the big ticket item, the new LD we're getting is Alisaie. So let's talk about her. If you're not familiar with her kit, her role is a primary damage dealer. She is elemental. She does earth, wind, fire. She also does thunder. She also gives free turns, and she has very fast turns. So she's all over the place, jumping consecutive, either that or high turn rate. Her rework just upped her damage, not really special. Skills that did brave gains do more brave gains, and the skills that did brave attacks have more brave attacks, and they all have more HP attacks. Same thing with her C90, she just does more damage. Her HP, special HP plus got bumped to, what's it called? 5 HP attacks, that's a damage increase, but nobody really cares about numbers at the end of the day. The LD itself, it's the attack is a 3 single target Brave plus HPs and a 3 AoE Brave plus HPs, and it drops her framed Imperil debuff, which imperils the Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Thunder. The buff that she gets, she enchants her own element, so now she's always hitting weakness damage no matter what. At least provided her debuff is up. So those non-elemental skills she does, she's always hitting weakness, so it's a damage increase there. And she gets a self-brave gain on the crit. This is the Keiss effect. It's based on her M-brave, so every time she crits something, she'll do a brave gain. So she's much more likely to actually cap her HP attacks just because of this. Her calls, her LD call is a selfish Keiss effect. It's not for the party. It is a quad enchanted that drops the debuff, so it's a pretty decent damage increase for whoever calls it, but I think it's only like 3 turns, so you need to, probably best for a burst phase. Going into the analysis, Alisaie's strengths, she's a turn hogger, she can drive follow-up, so think Garnet, Core, Kane, all that good stuff, off-turn stuff, she will drive it and take the forefront and take a lot of turns. She's very self-sufficient because of the weakness damage and the Keiss effect, so she's probably going to cap everything she does. Gonna go even further if you give her an ultimate weapon. And she does have a sword ultimate weapon, which is pretty competitive, and if you invest in her, you can throw that around all over the place because it is, I believe it's the most popular weapon. I don't remember the rankings, but what was it? It's Ultima, no, excuse me, it's unique and great sword, but sword is up there as well. So yeah, popular pick, so if you go that route, you wouldn't be too bad off. As for weaknesses, she is a turn hogger. It's unpredictable. Well, semi-predictable. She has the speed stuff with dual cast, and then she has high turn rates. You can't know when the instant turn rates are coming, but it can be a little unpredictable. You can't quite control her jumping around, kind of like lightning in that regard. By the way, Alisaie looks so much better compared to Lightning. Releasing Alisaie after Lightning was just such a kick in the dick. But Alisaie, you're not going to run her in the party if she is at low investment, which is normal for the, it's par for the course for damage dealers, but I need to reiterate that every single time. Because if you pull in a damage dealer and you don't invest in them, they're gonna feel bad. So if you're not bluing her, you're not giving her an ultimate weapon, she's gonna pale in comparison to everyone else, and it's really not worth it. She does have a learning curve with her rotation garbage. Don't ask me how to do it, by the way. I've never played Alisaie in this game once, and I still don't know how to today. And there's people who couldn't even figure out range spell. So if you're learning a verse, then Alisaie is not for you. And she largely does single target brave attacks. So if you need AoE shaving, she has AoE damage in the form of splash, but AoE brave shaving, she won't be able to handle that outside of her LD. For teams you want to run Alisaie with, outside of this normal support, she can help drive follow-ups like I mentioned before. So Kayn, Core, Ace, Garnet, but run over with Garnet forehead, but that is legitimately a thing. Just because of Garnet's off-turn stuff, but think in that regard, because Alisaie will just be hogging all the turns, better to pair her with something like that. As for future fights, she'll be helpful in the upcoming Papalimo LD raid, which needs you to do consecutive turns and then do a certain amount of damage afterwards. I think it's 200k, it's probably more than that. The Gilgamesh BT chapter, because she has that special HP attack, and that's the orb on that fight is to do it is to do special transformed bravery speed attacks, so she can be useful there. Divine Bomb Bahamut, where you need to do 2 turns in a row, I believe, to pause the orb. And then Shulk's Lost chapter, because it has fire damage and it's largely single target because it's the helicopter thing. So going into my plans, skip, this banner is not for me. I already have Keiss, and Alisaie, I would not invest in her all the way. I don't want to learn how to use her. I honestly think she's a lot of work for just average results, and it is harder to justify pulling on non-BT damage dealers in the current era, just because it's not balanced very well. And I wouldn't blue her. So I mean, I do have a sword ultimate weapon, but I just wouldn't blue her. That's really the crux of it. I just would rather spend my resources elsewhere. If I didn't have either, I might consider throwing tickets at it, but I don't. I have Keiss's LD from way back, and he's been useful. So yeah. So just getting right into it, the end. Before you pull, what is my suggestion? Again, this is for meta purposes, taking some things into consideration. If you already decided, do what you want to do. But if you're not able to decide, here's some things to think about. I want to emphasize again that if you're not investing all the way in your damage dealers, then don't invest, period. But in that front, maybe if you're capped on tickets, consider this banner maybe, because Alisaie's LD call isn't half bad for BT phase, especially like, I'm sure Machina would appreciate it with the self-brave gains. If you don't already have Kate, Keiss's LD call is nice in what's it called? Launch scenario. So if you don't get it now though, so Keiss reruns, I believe, alongside, it's during Kayn's BT cycle. I think he's on the Warrior Light banner, so he's there, and Alisaie comes back on the Reno Intersecting Will. So if you miss out on them here and you end up realizing you want those LD calls, especially because Keiss's LD call can be very handy. I just used it when I did the Lewd Lost chapter in JP, because I was doing launch shenanigans with Rain's LD call and then Keiss's refund afterwards. So that call is really useful. I think this is ultimately the least valuable banner of Garnet's BT cycle. Well, I don't know what the next one is going to be, but people think it's going to be Ico, and if it is Ico, I'd much rather go for Garnet's BT there over this one. This would be my last choice. Keiss does have really good party cap up armor, 20%, which is pretty rare, and that call effect is very handy as well, but Selphie will be around the corner and Keiss will be just reduced to a call. So if you got the tickets for it, I'd maybe toss some tickets to try and get Keiss's LD call at worst, but otherwise I think people can just largely skip this banner. If you're going to invest in Alisaie, either go all the way or don't do it at all, or else she's going to be largely relegated to a call. Same with Keiss, but Keiss has a very powerful debuff, and you can double tap it now because he has debuff start. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Again, I thank you all for watching, supporting me making the slides. I think I found a nice workflow so I can keep it up on this and can make my process easier. So expect the slides to continue, but keep showing love, or else I'll go back on my Kevin Samuels and just stop. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.